When an ENFP and an ENTP enter a room, you can feel the air crackle with pure, unfiltered chaos energy. Individually, they're a whirlwind of ideas, curiosity, and last-minute plans. Together, they're like a tornado that picked up a carnival, thrilling, unpredictable, and mildly concerning to anyone trying to impose order. So these two don't just enjoy spontaneity, they live for it. They'll wake up with no plans and by noon somehow be on a road trip to a UFO convention they just heard about. Halfway there, they'll start an impassioned debate about whether time is an illusion. Welcome everyone to another Live Protocol video. If any of my videos ever resonated with you or made you think differently, then this book will drastically change your perspective. I'm offering free access to it through Google Drive. The link is in the description, or if you prefer to receive it directly, you can always email me. And if the book resonates with you and you'd like to support its message, you can grab a copy on Amazon and help spread the word. It's entirely up to you. Now back to the video. They'll get sidetracked by a random street performer and then accidentally stumble into a business meeting where they somehow pitch a genius idea they just came up with 5 minutes ago. So for ENFPs and ENTPs, the thrill of the unknown is like caffeine. They just can't function without it. Structure? Overrated. Planning ahead, that's for the weak. So their love for novelty and adventure means their relationship is never boring, but it does mean they'll probably forget to book a hotel for that spontaneous vacation they took again. So both types have one core belief: rules were made to be questioned and probably ignored. So ENFPs fight against conformity with sheer emotional passion and deep authenticity. Introverted feeling, secondary but still very strong. So if something doesn't align with their values, they'll reject it faster than a bad horoscope reading. So ENTPs fight against conformity just to see what happens. So they'll argue both sides of the issue just to watch people's heads explode. Together, they form an unstoppable force of rebellious innovation, constantly pushing each other to break free from tradition, challenge the status quo, and come up with yet another wild idea at 3 a.m. that they'll definitely forget by morning. Of course, this dynamic isn't without its complications, so they may struggle with minor things like staying on track, following through, and remembering where they put their keys. But hey, who needs organization when you have unlimited enthusiasm and a never-ending supply of ideas? If nothing else, one thing's for sure: life with these two will never be boring. The dance of debate. So when an ENFP and an ENTP get into a debate, it's not just a discussion, it's a full-blown dramatic production. There's passion, there's drama, there's wild hand gestures. Outsiders might mistake it for an argument, but really it's just their love language. Both of them are independent thinkers who refuse to accept things at face value. An ENFP will challenge an idea because it doesn't align with their values. Introverted feeling. And the ENTP will challenge an idea just to see if they can break it. So this means their conversations range from mind-blowing philosophical discussions to absurd debates like this. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Actually, I'd argue that gravity is. You would argue that? But love is what makes us human. Robots may experience love one day, and then what? Wait, should we build a robot just to test this? Their clash of perspectives keeps things interesting, but also ensures that neither one gets stuck in an echo chamber. So the value of constructive conflict. To the outside world, their endless back and forth might seem exhausting, but for them, it's intellectual cardio. They push each other to think deeper, question assumptions, and grow, even if it means regularly roasting each other's logic in the process. I feel like this idea could change the world. Or it could be wildly impractical and doomed to fail. Let's dissect it. You're so annoying, but also, okay, fine, we'll workshop it. Of course, their shared love for chaos means that sometimes their constructive conflict turns into a tornado of tangents, where they start arguing about one thing and somehow end up debating whether mermaids should be classified as mammals. The importance of active listening. So here's the thing: while they both love a good debate, neither of them wants to lose. So the real challenge is learning to actually listen to each other instead of just waiting for their turn to talk. So ENTPs in particular have a talent for rapid fire rebuttals, sometimes interrupting before the ENFP has even finished their sentence. So meanwhile, ENFPs with their deep emotional insights want their feelings fully understood before moving on to the next point. You're actually not hearing what I'm saying. I hear everything. I just have already 5 counter arguments ready to go. That's not listening. That's preloading your ammo. Okay, fair. So when they slow down and genuinely hear each other, their debates become not just entertaining, but incredibly meaningful. So ENFPs help the ENTPs connect with their emotions, and ENTPs help ENFPs see things from multiple angles. If they master the art of empathetic listening, their relationship can go from chaotic brilliance to unstoppable synergy. The magic of shared experiences. So when an ENFP and an ENTP team up, life turns into a never-ending highlight reel of ridiculous, spontaneous adventures. These two don't just make memories, they create legendary stories that sound like fever dreams when retold. One minute they're backpacking through a foreign country with no itinerary, the next they're accidentally starting a side hustle because of a random 2 a.m. idea. Their shared love for adventure means that boredom is physically impossible when they're together. So, I may or may not have just booked us flights to a mystery destination. Amazing! Do we at least know which continent? Nope. Surprise! This is why we're soulmates. It's this spontaneity that makes their relationship feel like an epic movie, filled with unexpected twists, hilarious blunders, and deep existential conversations in the most inconvenient places, like a grocery store aisle or at the bus stop. So the strength in vulnerability. Now, despite their shared "I'm totally fine" energy, both types can struggle with deep emotional vulnerability. Don't get me wrong, ENFPs, they are emotionally intense, but they fear being too much for others, while ENTPs, they do love deep discussions, but they'd rather debate the meaning of life than talk about their own feelings. So when an ENFP finally opens up about their fears and the ENTP doesn't deflect with humor but actually listens, boom, instant emotional depth. So when an ENTP lets their guard down and admits that they don't have everything figured out, the ENFP meets them with warmth instead of judgment. So it's in these quiet, rare moments between the chaos and that their bond solidifies. Sure, they'll still feel most of the time with wild debates and insane adventures, but when they finally let each other see past the excitement and into their hearts, their connection transcends the fun. A lifelong journey of discovery. So one thing is certain, these two will never stop evolving, which is great because stagnation is their worst nightmare. An ENFP and an ENTP in a long-term relationship are basically two mad scientists of life, constantly experimenting with new ideas, new projects, and new ways to make things exciting. Today, learning a new language together. Tomorrow, starting a podcast even though they have no plan. Next week, deciding they should probably live on a boat for a year just to see what happens. So neither of them will ever be the type to just settle into routine and complacency. They keep each other mentally stimulated, always pushing for growth, adventure, and one more impulsive decision that may or may not change their lives forever. And honestly, that's what makes their relationship so beautiful, right? It's not just about fun, it's about becoming the best versions of themselves together. But we also can't forget that personality type alone is not enough to determine if a relationship will work. It takes effort, commitment, and a genuine desire to make the relationship work, right? So there's no such thing as a perfect match. The only universal truth when it comes to relationships is that both parts, both people must do their part and work towards cohesion, not for personal gain. So thinking how can this relationship benefit me will inevitably lead to separation. Instead, think how can I make their life better. So if both partners think that way, the sky is the limit. So like I always say, understanding breeds acceptance. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. That will allow us to keep making more videos like this. For more related content, please click on one of the suggested videos. Thank you for watching.